What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, people? How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? It is a Sunday, and y'all know what we do on Sundays. We wasn't here last Sunday. I wasn't feeling too good, but we do have the man of the hour in the house on this Sunday. And just want to say thank you all for jumping in. Thank you all for joining. Dexter Taylor, how we doing, man? How we doing?
All is lovely, hang on a second, there we go. All right. Yeah, now I'm set up properly. Yeah, as I was saying to you before we got on, we just went through a strike. It's been really a statewide strike of corrections officers. I don't know if every single facility across the state, every single prison across the state was involved, but very many of them were. It was a walkout strike. It wasn't sanctioned by the Corrections Officers Union, but it was real. People went on the picket lines, and in the prison I'm in, everything kind of came down to a skeleton crew of corrections officers. The civilians, many of whom work in the school building, were helping pass out meals and collect garbage and so on and so forth. And the governor deployed the National Guard to prisons around the state to help.
This call is being terminated due to a system error. Please hang up and try your call again at a later time.
Oh, I don't know what that's about. But we'll
give him a second to call back.
Okay.
That happened before.
Oh, okay. All righty. For those who don't know, if you're new here on a Sunday with us, hanging out with us, we do have Dexter Taylor. If you don't know who Dexter Taylor is a young black man that was basically railroaded. I'll put it in my words. He didn't say it, but my words. Pretty much railroaded by the state of New York. Dexter Taylor had every right to assemble a firearm that was never fired, a firearm that was never used, and the state of New York found a way to go in, break into this man's house. That's what they did. Kick in his door, go in, searching for things. Really couldn't find anything, but they came up with this here. Take this man and put this man in prison. So on Sundays, what we do is we get in contact with Carl. He's on the back end of this. Y'all heard Carl. Carl's usually in the back shadows there, doing work on the back end of this thing. And we talk to Dexter, give Dexter an opportunity to say what he want to say, and also kind of catch Dexter up on what's going on around us. We're going to do everything we possibly can do. That's okay. So we're going to do everything we can do to keep him with a civil mind, and we believe that doing this here on a Sunday gives him the opportunity to rant a little bit, give him the opportunity to catch up on the things that he didn't get to hear. Right now, Dexter got cut off, but he was right in the middle of telling us about a strike that was going on, which basically left him locked down. Am I correct, Dex?
Yep. That's right. Left everyone was on 24-hour lockdown. So, no rec, no going to chow, no showers, anything like that. Well, we ended up we had one shower during the last week, and today they ran showers again. So that was good because again, people are starting to come back to work. But yeah, everything was highly restricted. The way it works in these maximum security prisons is you need a certain number of officers, even just to supervise movement. Like when you move a box full of people from their cells to the chow hall, you need a certain number of officers along the route, just to pull security and what have you. And so if that number drops, if the number of people you have drops below that number, then you can't move those people. And same thing with running programs. We have, there's industry programs, there's welding, there's whatever, there's school programs, right? You have to have a certain number of personnel, in order to facilitate those movements. personnel numbers dropped a little bit.
This call is being terminated due to a system error. Please hang up and try your call again at a later time.
I guess we're going to go through a few drops tonight. It seems like. Dexter is actually calling us from a computer. They're in prison. He's locked up. You know, they gave him 10 years. They gave him a plea deal, but just like, you know, why would I take a plea deal if I didn't do anything wrong? So they decided they was going to, you know, make an example out of this man and lock him up. So Dexter is in prison. He's using like I said, like a computer to call in to us. So there's be times when he may be up high, he may be down low, you may not be able to hear him, but if you can just stick with us for a little bit tonight, we are having some difficulties, but we're going to try to work through them. Like I said, we missed him last Sunday. I wasn't able to make it on last Sunday. So, but hey, I'm here now, feel better, and the whole 9 yards. But Dexter was, like I said, going over a little bit about what's going on there in the prison with the system. I guess the prison guards decided to go on strike. So when they go on strike, everybody suffers. So, you know, Dexter has to sit in his place for about 24 hours. I do believe that's how that works. We're going to find out once we get him back on. We'll see if we have to keep bouncing back and forth tonight and what's going on with everything. So, again, like I said before, Dexter calls in. We give him an opportunity to talk. We talk to him, say hi, see how he was doing, and, you know, just mentally to be able to keep him with us and let the world know exactly how this man has been treated. If you know somebody.
All right, we got Dexter back.
Okay. If you know somebody in a high place, we asked you to put his name out there. Put his name out there so, you know, people can hear about it. But hey, what's going on, Dex? We back?
Hey, what's happening? Yeah, we're back.
There we go.
Looks like they don't like me talking about it.
I got a feeling that's what it. I had a feeling that's what it is, because every time you start talking about it, they be like, "We got to cut this dude off. He letting the outside world know that we ain't right."
Well, but everybody knows about the strike. I mean, you know, it's not. That's what it is. You know, yeah. If that's what it is, then it's pretty silly, because I mean, everyone knows that that's what it is. But of course, if you don't have enough people, because some of them are on strike, then you can't do the things you normally do in this facility or any other facility. So I don't know but anyway. Yeah, so, you know, National Guard was here. They're going to be here till the 18th. But things are coming back to normal slowly. So, you know, I might even get back to go back to work this week. So,
so
yeah, you know, it is what it is. Yeah.
So they're on strike, and so what do you do? What do you have to do?
Sit and read.
So
you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's it. Like,
so if they don't have enough people to get you to where you need to be, like to go outside or something like that, you just have to sit in your cell?
Yeah, that's 24-hour life now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's.
I mean, for me, it's like to me, it's like being in transit. I mean, when I went from Rikers Island, well, everyone who goes from county or local lockup to state has to go through what they call transit, or even if you move from one facility to another. So, and you know, when you're in transit, like, you're in your cell for 24 hours. Like, you know, you get fed, obviously, but you don't go anywhere, you don't take any showers, you know, so like you're in your cell all the time until the bus comes and you all go out and get shackled and put on the bus and go where you're going to go. So this was like transit, except clean, because, you know, the transit cells in these regional hubs are all nasty. So this is like transit, except it's clean, and I've got my commentary food, and I've got books, and I know the people around me, so we talk, tell stories, tell jokes, you know, shoot the shit, whatever, half the time. So, I mean, it was difficult, but it wasn't, you know, like You know, to me, it wasn't any big deal. The uncertainty was the biggest thing. Like, how long is this going to go on? You know,
right.
so and so and so. But yeah, we got through it. You know.
So you in a cell? Are you in a cell by yourself?
So yeah.
Are you?
Thank God. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I guess that is a good thing, right? Versus having a.
Yes, it's a very good thing. Absolutely.
Well, you know, let me back up there. What I just said. No, it's you shouldn't be in there at all. So but if you're in there, I guess being in there, having your own cell and to be able to do whatever you want to do on your own is I guess it's a good thing when they have locked you up for literally, like I always say, no reason other than to try to make an example out of you. Other than that, they don't have a reason for you to even be in there. But anyway, man, you missed. Let me tell you, because I know you probably wasn't able to see this, right? So the dude from
the Eric Adams meltdown.
Let's do that one first, then.
Okay, I mean, no, I actually heard that. My mom played it for me because my mom, this whole affair, this whole thing that's happened to me, it's been a giant red pill to my mother. So she is now on the warpath against all Democrats. She doesn't want to hear nothing. So like Eric Adams, persona non grata to her. So when I call her, she'd be like, you know what that fool just did? He was at a first conference. Let me play this for you on YouTube. She's playing for me on YouTube. So yeah, I've heard all the ruckus that's been going on around Eric Adams and that whole thing. I think it's hilarious. Again, I think that dropping that indictment, the DOJ, the Trump DOJ dropping that indictment, or moving to drop that indictment, was a work of political genius because it's really kind of I see that it's kind of it's got the New York Democrats rattled and beginning to kind of take shots at each other, which is great.
Right,
I'm all
right.
for it, but yeah, what were you going to say? I'm sorry.
No, I kind of, I understand what you're saying, but I kind of see it in kind of a different way. If the Trump DOJ has dropped everything and not are they just not going to prosecute this, go after him, deal with him, going to say, okay, we're going to let you off the hook, but we need you on our side, one of those deals. So I'm kind of sitting back waiting for the next part to go ahead, bro.
Yeah, the next shoe to drop.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. I mean, to me, it's the way I was looking at it was this, right? That certainly the Trump DOJ, wanted Adams to cooperate with their immigration crackdown. But if you think about it, it wouldn't have been a showstopper for them. That is, Eric Adams doesn't cooperate. Okay, so the press releases write themselves. Press conferences write themselves. Well, Trump is trying to keep his campaign promise, and corrupt New York Democrats are standing in the way, right? New York is a blue state, so it's not like, what I'm saying? It's not like anything that's crucial to the success of Trump's term is at stake if Adams doesn't cooperate. It's just that his cooperation was a nice to have. I think that they definitely wanted to be able to do certain things and make use of certain facilities in New York and what have you. But to me, the thing is that once they moved to drop that, once he started cozying up to Trump, right? Once it went to Mar-a-Lago and all that stuff, I think a lot of professional New York Democrats started looking at him funny. They're like, wait a minute, what's this guy doing? Trump is the enemy. How come you're going to Mar-a-Lago? How come you're talking to him? How come you're smiling and hugging and kissing and all that business? And then once the DOJ dropped that indictment, I think a lot of these New York Democrats were like, "Oh, he switched sides."
Right.
Now, whether he has or not is irrelevant. That's what it looks like. That's what it was, an act of political genius. because everyone's going to think the man in the street would absolutely think it was a quid pro quo, like they offered him to, if you do this, we'll drop the indictment. And I don't necessarily think it was like that. I think they saw immediately that if they dropped that indictment, it would kind of compromise him politically in his own party, which it did. Yeah. And it would get a lot of other New York Democrats thinking, well, who else is gonna make a deal to save their skin once the DOJ starts digging around in our business? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and then of course, Kathy Hochul was there, and she's like, well, is she going to remove the New York mayor? And she decides not to. But again, win-win either way. If she removes the mayor of New York, that's a huge deal. That's almost it. That's not a good look for her. Not a good look for the city. It's not a good look for the mayor. She leaves him in, and he doesn't step down, and he continues on as an embarrassment, and that's also good. Again, thinking from a Republican strategy point of view. So I just enjoy watching the fur fly. To be honest.
Yeah. I mean, my thought is just go and get them all. I mean, go and see who. Like you said, I said go in and get them all and see who's going to be the turncoat.
Right?
Because they are all falling.
Yeah, right. The people.
They're all falling. They're all falling at this point. Is like, okay, what do I have to do for the next 4 years so I can save grace and save my job? You know what I mean? Because that's pretty much what it's all about. So and I'm sure, the Democrats are in one of those things of going, okay, if Trump let him off. What did he say? Who did he tell on? So I'm sure they're running around shaking a little bit in their boots. And hey, at this point, that's a good thing.
That's a good thing. Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. You've just been in charge too long. You've been getting away with too much stuff. So now, now comes the reckoning. I'm all for it. But then again, I'm all for it. I just don't think there should be any politician ever who has complete job security. I don't care what party you're in. You should never feel that confident in the future of your job as a politician. You should always be trying. You should always be like, okay, what do I have to? I'm doing what people expect me to do. I'm doing the right thing. And so this whole the safety of New York is a solid blue state or whatever. Yeah, flip that table. Flip that table. Absolutely. Let's do it. And if it was a bunch of Republicans in here running the place and not doing a good job, I'd be like, so flip that table too. I don't care. Just flip the table.
Right.
So yeah, I'm all for that.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. But like I said, we'll see if anything else. We'll see if anything else comes out of that. I'm hoping that a door opens and, like I said, he starts talking about it. But what's his name's trying to come back in and run for mayor? Como.
Oh yeah, Andrew Cuomo. Jeez.
Yeah.
Terrible. I'm just like, I can't stand that guy. But whatever. It's like, again, if we don't get any good, solid conservatives who know how to talk to people stepping up and running, then that's what we get.
Yeah.
We get Andrew Cuomo.
Yep.
Back in the business.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but that's how that is.
No, and you hit that dead on the head. That the Republicans bitch and moan, right? Oh, it's a Democratic state. Yeah. It's a Democratic this, but yet they don't put up anybody who comes in. It's just like here in Minnesota, right? So here in Minnesota, we've got an opportunity to have probably one of the worst mayors of Minneapolis ever about to happen here. And my rally cry to all the people who lives out in like the suburbs outside of Hennepin County is it's going to affect you. What this guy can do will affect you. So you have to come in and start making a difference. You have to come in and start talking to people and relating to people and just getting in and finding another candidate that you can help get behind. But, they look at it in a way of going, well, it's Minneapolis and we don't have anything to do it. We live out in our nice comfort, but your nice comfort area is turning into something that you didn't even recognize 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? And the same thing, same thing with New York, right? You keep putting those people up there, and the people outside of New York that live in the burg, they it's not bothering me. I get to drive to work and drive home, but yet there's carjackings and they breaking in the garages and all this here type of stuff. So it's just funny to me.
And then you got yeah, and of course, Kathy Hope will try to put in congestion pricing, and all this business. I mean, look, we just, I don't know why. On the one hand, conservative politicians especially, or so I say Republican politicians, what we have that passes for conservative. We're always talking about the global economy and the interconnectedness of everything and how everything depends on everything else. And that's usually their excuse for why they allowed why they were so behind the destruction of American domestic manufacturing, because it's a global economy, so everything's connected. So everything's connected. But then when it comes to our own American cities, then they think nothing is connected, right? Then
That's
they
right.
think, well, yeah, whatever calamities befall the cities are entirely local to the cities and won't affect anyone or anything else. I mean, make sense.
You can't.
Either the world is interconnected or it isn't, right? So you mean to tell me, we have a vested interest in what happens, across the Atlantic Ocean, or we don't have a vested interest in what happens in the city, in the suburbs we live? Like, are you fine? What are you talking about? So, this is, again, I'm always beating this horse. It's like, we need, a populist conservatism really needs to step up and be populist conservatism. It must be concerned with all the people. It has to concern itself with all the people, or it's not real. I mean, that's it. So, and look, I enjoy as much as the next person all these government officials catching fits because funding is getting cut, and because there's someone in the White House who doesn't respect your special pronouns and all this nonsense. I'm all for that, okay, but that's just one small piece, right? We have to start talking about cities, and start caring about cities, what happens in them, and we have to realize this is one republic, and it's our home, and we don't have another one. We don't have another one on backup.
That's right.
This republic is our home, all of it, right? So yeah, I mean, I have high hopes, for populist conservatism. We'll see. We'll see what happens in the next few years. But yeah, I would love for a solid conservative like Lee Zeldin or somebody to run against the governor. That would be awesome. I'd love to see a good, solid, like a real conservative mayor. Someone who actually believes in the Bill of Rights as well as in law and order. Right? You can have both. You know what I'm saying? I like, and profits and growth and all that good stuff. I'd like to see someone like that as mayor. But that is what we got so far. So we'll see.
Yeah. Oh, you got that right. At the end of the day, so yeah, I mean, if we haven't learned anything, it's getting a lot of people is power. people together is power.
Yes, sir.
And that's the whole thing that if we haven't learned that, and I don't really think that we've learned that. I think what it was just a coordination of people call themselves coming together for a minute, and then we're going to go back. We'll go back to being our normal selves. I mean, to me, it was all for nothing if we're not, fighting together and making sure that certain things happen, certain things go down. But yeah, Eric is going to be. This is going to be pretty good to see where this goes, or if they just leave him alone and don't say anything. That's another way they can just let him be and just clap their hands and be like, well, look at what we did for Eric, but Eric ain't did anything and nothing was done to push out any of the corruption that's still going on there. So that'll be a waste. That'll be a waste of time if you ask me on that one.
It'll be a waste of opportunity, absolutely. But again, look, as it is now, he's not even fully off the hook. I mean, it's up to a judge right now whether the DOJ is even allowed to drop the indictment against him, right? It's under review right now by a judge, I think. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's the funny thing. It's like he goes up to Trump and cooperated with the immigration crackdown and all this stuff. And depending on what that judge says, he might still be on the hook. And then the DOJ will be able to say, well, sorry, we dropped the indictment, but this judge wants to see the trial happen, so I guess we're going to go. It's a very interesting time to be looking at politics. That's what it is.
and we got to hold off. We got to hold off and see if Trump is serious about all this here, or if it's just big talk when it comes to this immigration stuff. You know what I mean? So if he don't go up,
that's right. I mean, that's right.
If he don't go up in New York and do what he says he's going to do, then everything with Eric Adams is for nothing. I mean, because basically what they did is they forced Eric to say, okay, I'm not going to push back on you when you come in with ICE. So if he don't go in there with ICE and they're not pulling people out of there, then
he's already done that. Well, wait a minute. He's already done that. I mean, no. The ICE trucks have been rolling. I mean, I know that
in New York. Oh, okay, okay.
They've been doing raids. Oh yeah. No. They've been raiding. They've been doing a gang of raids all across the New York area. 100%. I mean, they've been running down on people in the Bronx. Manhattan, Brooklyn. Yeah, I mean, they're doing it, But my thing is this: that's only one part of it. Like again, anyone who's serious about immigration is gonna tackle the demand side as well. They're gonna start finding employers, and so that's what I want to see. If that starts to happen, then we'll really know that they're serious, right? So again, it's too soon to tell. But as far as the initial part, like the very showy part, where like the ICE truck rolls up in the neighborhood and a bunch of guys jump out and start, that's all. That is happening. That is actually happening.
Oh, okay, okay. I did not know that. I thought they was waiting or letting Tom get his feet under him before they go through there and start cleaning out and cleaning stuff up. So okay, all right.
I think Tom Holman said, "Don't wait for my feet." That's what I think he told him. So don't wait for my feet. Just go, And so they did go. So. We'll see how this shakes out. But here's the thing. Before I interrupted you because you were saying, you were going to tell me at the beginning of the thing. You said, "Have you seen this?" And I interrupted and asked about Eric Adams. What were you going to tell me about?
So the Ukraine president. Did you hear about this? Came to the White House. The UK
Yes.
Old boy came to the White House, right? So so and I you know I
that was
watched
good.
I watched the video a couple of times, right? And I see it both ways.
You watched the beatdown? You watched the
I-
beatdown video?
well,
You
you know what?
beatdown
I
video?
think it was when I first saw it, I was like, oh wow, that is wow.
Mhm.
Hold on, let me watch this again. So I watched it again, and I still had to go, oh wow.
Yeah, right.
But the more I watch it, I realized that was a setup, brother. That was a straight off the
You think so?
Jerry. That was a what was his name? Jerry.
Jerry Springer.
That was
Springer
yes,
setup.
it was.
Jerry
Yes,
Springer.
it was. That
Okay,
yes,
now,
it was.
Why do you think? Okay, why do you think it was?
Well,
Why do you think it was?
because number one, all right, they had already had that pretty much very conversation behind closed doors, right? So they decided to bring it out, and the instigator in that whole situation was JD Vance. I don't care what anybody says. You can tell me what you want to say. You can. Oh, speaking of which, hold on. And I'm sorry, for some reason I don't know what's going on, but the comments, my comment section is not working for some reason tonight. So if you have a comment, if you want to say what's up to Dexter or anything, please, ma'am and sir, just put it on my page or Carl's page, and we will definitely get it. But for some reason, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I changed a couple of things last week, and that for some reason is gone bye-bye. So I cannot see your comments. If you have a comment, please go to my page or go wherever you're watching and put it on my page or Carl's page. We will get it then. I will be more than happy to read whatever you got to say. Or if you disagree with anything that Dexter and I talk about, please, ma'am and sir, put it out there. We'll talk about it. We'll get it straightened out. But as I was saying, the more I watch, the more I watch that, bro, it was like, okay, this is Jerry Springerish. This is like
You think so, huh?
yeah, this is like being on his TV show where he's firing somebody. Do I think the president of Ukraine knew what was about to hit him? No. I don't believe for 1 second he knew that was about to happen. Right. I think Trump and Vance because if you got to see this.
Oh, listen, yes.
You look at Rubio.
I heard the whole thing.
Yeah, but you have to see Marco Rubio.
Yeah.
You have to see how Marco Rubio is sitting there. Like? Oh man, he was like, what the? He was literally like, it was like, what is going on? This can't be happening in the overall. If you look at if anybody go back and watch Marco Rubio, if y'all saw that and tell me what you think was going through Marco Rubio's mind. He was shocked.
Well,
I mean, he was shocked.
Now here's the thing. This is why I think it wasn't a setup. I mean, a setup in the Trump and JD Vance got on the same page.
Exactly.
And I think they which is great. I think they left Marco Rubio out of that. They didn't loop him in, which is also great because you know something.
True.
Marco Rubio is one of those Washington types that loves foreign entanglement. He was, as I recall, he was for the Ukraine war. He was for us sending money and weapons to Ukraine and this whole thing up. He was all in favor of that, if I remember correctly. Someone out there, if I'm wrong, keep me honest. But that's what I remember. So it's great. It's wonderful. Like, Trump and Vance should be on the same page. And that's exactly the kind of table flipping I like. It's like you swing on guys. Like, hey, listen, back up, son. Okay? You need to play ball. You're not just going to keep coming here asking for money and getting everything you want, like you did when the other guy was president. I am all for that. And look, I've been seeing on the news wire that, for example, foreign leaders are saying, well, you got to put boots on the ground. And Trump's saying, no, we don't. Because I think he understands that there's nothing. This is just like every other dumb idea for foreign entanglement. It's like we're gonna get in above our heads, and it's not gonna go well. And so the difference here is that now this little war that kicked off, largely because of us, by the way, in Ukraine, I think the difference here is that we're not looking at the opposing force is not some little rinky-dink country, right, with no air power. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The opposing force is literally the largest nuclear power in the world, right? And they're one of the biggest artillery powers. I mean, in terms of like continental maneuver forces, I mean, the Russians are there, right? So, and we know for a fact that they're not. I'm going to call back in a sec, but yeah, we know for a fact they're not going to let that happen. They're not going to let Ukraine join the Western security orbit. And you know, listen, Russia's not going to give back those 2 annexed territories. They're just not. I'd be surprised if they gave back any of the territory they got. I'd be shocked. I don't think they will. So yeah, I'm glad Zelensky got a knockback, and I hope there's more to come. I'm gonna tell you something, woman and women, so I'm gonna jump off and come back and we'll continue chopping it.
Okay, sounds like a deal. I'll see you in a second.
Yep.
The caller has hung up.
So basically what we have is, you know, we get in for about 33, 34 minutes, somewhere like that, if I'm not mistaken, 35 minutes to give or take. And then what Dexter do is he hangs up and he calls us back. And then he'll, you know what? I completely forgot. I did bring my picture. I gotta hang my other picture I just got the other day. I got something new. Hold on one second. While Dexter's doing that, let me grab it. Y'all just sit tight for a second. Sit tight. So I got to grab my other. I just realized that when I was looking behind me, I was like, I didn't hang my picture. Oh, my goodness. Hold on. I got another picture. So I got to hang this. Got to put that back here. So that's behind me. So that's my new picture I got the other day. So just because a lot of people ask me if this is real. Maybe is your background? It's all real. All of it. It's all It's all. Where's my skull? It's like my skull, right? Is that cool or what? Is that the coolest thing y'all ever seen? Anyway, so for those who just jumped on, it's sitting there going, oh, he's showing off his Packers stuff. No, actually what I'm doing is we're giving Dexter Taylor an opportunity to come in and chit chat with us and the whole nine. And so this is what we do on Sundays, right? We talk to Dexter Taylor, who is in prison, and we do it because we want to keep his name out there, right? We want to make sure that people know what a unfair justice system looks like, and Dexter Taylor is a man who's sitting under an unfair justice system. We've talked about this system. We've talked about the justice that is always wrong, especially when it comes to us, and plus when it comes to guns, because Democrats love to use black people. Democrats and black people and guns. It's never a good thing. It's never a good thing when it comes to Democrats, black folks, and firearms. It's never a good thing because number one, we're not supposed to have them, right? And that's what Democrats believe, especially here. See, I'm in Minnesota, and the Democrats are always looking for a way to call themselves passing gun laws, right? And most of those gun laws does nothing to keep guns off the street, does nothing to keep us from shooting it. Hold on, let me say that again for somebody who probably missed what I just said. it does nothing to keep us from shooting each other. We had a couple people shot just last week. Had double shooting just last week. And it slows nothing down, but it makes the Democrats feel good when they can pass these gun laws. Again, that has nothing to do with crime. That doesn't perpetuate crime. Do not settle crime down or anything of that sort. All right, because 99.9% of the time, we are people who look like me. Hello, are shooting each other in the streets. All right. And you can get mad at me for saying that if you want, but prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Like I always tell people, if you ever want to have a conversation with me, just let me know, because I'll put you right there, right next to me, and we can have those conversations. But see, people don't really like having a true conversation, right? What they like to do is get on your page and then, say mean and ugly and nasty things about you. But I'm good there too. Because, no weapons formed against me shall prosper. Period. Point blank. No ifs, ands, or buts. The God that I serve will make sure that he put my enemies at my feet. There you go with that. But anyway, we're waiting for Dexter to call back here. We was just talking. We was talking about the situation that happened at the White House. The Jerry Springer. I'm going to call it what I call it. Y'all can call it what you want. Like Dexter was saying, it was a good thing for Skolensky to get smacked down, but I look at it in a way of saying, for them giving up their nukes, which happened, look it up, 93. They was basically promised that United States, like we always do, would basically take care of them. That's why they was sending arms over to them. That's why they was giving them money to fight the Russians. Think about it for a second. So if we make that promise, but let's think about the promises for a second that United States have made to a few people. Yeah, y'all know where I'm going with this. Let's think about the promises that have been made by these here folks, the government of the United States, right? Think about those promises. So when they make promises, not like they keep them all the time, correct? We know that. We know if you're a historian or you read the history of these here United States, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't even need to spell it out at all. So anyway, wow, usually don't take Dexter this long to. Usually don't take him this long to get back with us. But he was having problems with his phone there in prison. And like I said before, he calls from a computer. It's a computer that he uses, that computer. If the Wi-Fi, we have days where Sundays where the Wi-Fi is awesome. And then we have Sundays where the Wi-Fi just is not working well for us. And this here could be one of those Sundays that the Wi-Fi isn't working as well as we would like for it to work. But anyway, if you don't know anything about it, you can also go on my YouTube channel. I'm all proud of myself because I finally figured out, because I'm not a techie guy, but I finally figured out how that thing worked. So there's other conversations that we've had with Dexter Taylor. It is on my YouTube channel, so you can go out there and check that out. And while you're there, subscribe to my YouTube channel, so it can grow a little bit. And like I said, the more it grows, the more we get Dexter's name out here. And to you all who are listening to me right now, who's under the sound of my voice, if you all can get this stuff out there, right? If you got a couple of seconds on tomorrow, do hashtag Dexter Taylor, or go, you can go to his page there, and if Carl gets the opportunity, I'm gonna see if he would mind putting that out here on both of our pages, so you can go to Dexter's page and you can pull up all his stuff. I think Carl put that out there earlier today. Right now, what you see on our page, on my page and on Carl's page, is this hat. I stand with Dexter Taylor. We've been promoting these here hats, pushing them out there. I got a red one too. I decided to wear my black one tonight, but I got a black one, and I paid for them, both of them. But I've got a red one and I got a black one. But this is the black one. There is a red one. Also, if you're into sporting the red, but these hats and the sweatshirts, I still got to get a sweatshirt from Carl. I'll talk to Carl about it later on. But there also are sweatshirts. It says "I stand with Dexter Taylor." It's got the carbon mic on it, and this money goes to help Dexter Taylor, right? Help with his attorney fees. I don't. You can.
We're back.
Oh, there he is. Help with his attorney fees and things of that sort. So if you get an opportunity, Carl got it up there on the Get Up. Carl, what's the what's the website? Not the website, but at Future Radio, right?
At Future Radio Cast.
At Future Radio Cast.
Future Radio Cast.
At Future Radio Cast.
I'll throw his handle up in page so people can find it.
Okay. All right. That sounds like a deal. And we've got to say to Mr. Man there in the background, Carl, just had he is Dexter. He's in the club now, bro.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the club now.
I know he's in the brotherhood.
He's in the brotherhood.
The ranks of the noble men. That's right.
Congratulations to you, Carl. We hope we pray that the wifey is doing awesome, and the baby is doing awesome, and you're doing awesome. Congratulations, young man. Congratulations.
I appreciate that. Wifey is doing good. He's with our son now. Wife, baby, and godmother are all being all together right now. He's being taken care of by both of them. While I'm hanging out with you guys right now.
Oh, got you.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
If it, I know what it felt like. With having hearing them cry the first time, so I'm just gonna put it out there for you, Carl. What did you think? When he first came into this world, he started crying because at first he did cry, and then he started crying like a few seconds after he was born. First time I heard him cry, my heart melted. Right. So,
yeah.
It's an indescribable feeling to know that you brought this little man into this world. Me and my wife brought this little man into this world, and now, we're responsible for him.
Yep.
That I'll do anything for this little man.
Right.
There's nothing that
it changes you, right?
Yeah, it does.
Mm-hmm.
Change me for the best.
Yeah.
There we go, man.
Sir.
I'll get him a Packer jersey.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna send a Packer jersey up to you, Carl. We got to bring him up right. We got to bring him up right.
He might end up being who knows? He might end up being a Packer.
Yeah, we got to bring him up right, man. We can't have Carl down there putting no Miami Dolphin jersey on this kid.
Oh, no, he's gonna be a Miami fan. He's gonna be a Miami fan first.
Yeah, okay. You see what I'm saying, Dexter? I gotta look out for the little one. gotta look out for the little one.
Yeah,
On that.
come on, man. Let's raise these kids.
You right?
Yeah.
At the end of, but I'm happy for you too, there, Carl, and I wish nothing but the best. And I know you're gonna be an awesome father. There is no doubt about that, bro.
Know that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good thing. But anyway, Mr. Solinsky, as you were saying before you got as you were saying, so you think that we do, so are you saying you don't think that we should be giving Ukraine money?
Absolutely not. But we should absolutely not be giving.
But Dexter, we made a promise. We made a promise to them, though. We can't.
I don't care.
We kind of.
You know what I'm saying? I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm cold blooded with this. Listen, Reverend, I'm cold blooded with this right here. I'm like, I don't care. Listen, somebody else made a promise. As far as I'm concerned, Joe Biden made that promise. You know, and so. And listen, Joe Biden kept it.
Well, it was kind of done in '93. Now, it was kind of done in '90. Yeah, it was kind of. Well, hi, Donnie. Make sure you say hi to Donnie, Dex.
Donnie's on the block. Hey, Donnie, what's going on? And I guess Jeff is around somewhere too.
Jeff bouncing around there somewhere.
Donnie, my two favorite.
I'm sure Jeff's around there.
My two favorite liberty fighters in the world. Favorite liberty fighters in the world.
If he's not out there chasing them chickens.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Hey, wait. Small sidebar. Yeah. Jeff is lethal when it comes to these vermin sniffing around the chicken run, looking to get free chicken. Like Jeff told me, he had to light up a couple possums and a snake who was trying to get it on with Mrs. Snake. Jeff is no joke defending the perimeter, bro. So yeah, them chicken's gonna be all right. Trust.
Right.
Real quick.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I threw up through Jeff Charles about Dexter up in the on Reverend Tim's page. So anybody who's listening to it, if you look in the comment section of it under this broadcast, you'll see Jeff Charles' about Dexter. So go ahead and read up on our friend here and get to know what's going on with the state.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, appreciate that. There we go. Yeah, for those who are late to the party, you can go to my page there and you get Carl just put that out there for you guys to catch up a little bit and see what we're dealing with here with this man who's got under a 10-year sentence. Again, I consider him to be a political prisoner. I'll say it over and over and over again with what has happened. But he believes that we shouldn't be giving Ukraine no more money. So if we don't give Ukraine no money,
exactly.
If we don't give Ukraine no money, and then if Russia completely takes over, then what? Is that what we?
What do you mean?
Well, why would we want?
Look. Here's the thing. Here's why. Because what I care about is stability. Like
okay.
I don't really care whether or not Ukraine is a democracy. I don't care. What I care about is stability.
Okay.
Now, it seems to me, first of all, Russia has no need to quote unquote take over Ukraine. Russia would be perfectly happy to have a Russia-friendly president running Ukraine. And if they did, so what? In other words, look, people have to remember there's some history behind this. Okay, Russia has always been very touchy about the prospect of invasion of land invasion because the fact is they don't have any strong natural borders the way we do in America, right? In North America here, we have friendly and/or weak neighbors to the north and south, and we're surrounded by a giant cold saltwater moat. Okay, so. It's not easy to get to us, right? But it's very easy to get to Russia. And they've been invaded very many times in their history. And And the fact is that at least twice, invading armies have been brought to a halt by A, Russian winter, and B, Ukraine, that big buffer zone that anyone has to cross if they want to attack Russia from the west. Okay, they've enjoyed that buffer zone. They want to keep that buffer zone, so they'll be very happy with a Russia-friendly to neutral government in Ukraine. But they're never going to allow a Western-aligned government in Ukraine. They're never going to allow us to put missile bases so close to their Western border that we can get in under the wire faster than their defenses can respond. And look, if you're honest and if you're fair, you have to say, well, that's reasonable. Because look, President Kennedy in the 1960s was ready to send Russian warships to the bottom in order to get Russian missiles out of Cuba, because Cuba was very close to our border. Is very close to our border, right? It's like, no, you could get the drop on us with these missiles that you've got in Cuba, so you have to get them out. And it was called the Cuban Missile Crisis, and most people who observe these things say that that's probably the closest we've ever gotten to a hot war between the U.S. and Russia. Okay, so people have to just get right with the idea that other countries in the world are going to feel a kind of way about what happens in their near abroad. Okay, and Russia does not want American bases and military assets and surveillance assets and so on and so forth, or Western assets right up close to its border. And by the way, I point out that for those people who are still thinking in a Cold War mentality, I would point out that George Kennan, who was the American architect of the Cold War, he was the architect of the containment theory, like that we had to contain the Soviet Union back when the Soviet Union existed. He himself said, listen, we need to not expand NATO eastward. That's a terrible idea. We're going to come to grief if we do that. Don't do that. And nobody wanted to listen to George Kennan, right? But he was right then, and he's right now. So, NATO powers have been expanding eastward bit by bit over the last 10, really since the collapse of the Soviet Union. And, since Putin came to power, he's been saying, hey, guys, this is bad. Don't do this. This is the problem. Hey, guys, we're getting kind of antsy here. What are you doing? You need to stop. Think about it. And it's like we act like we don't care what you say. We're going to do what we feel. Okay, fine. So now, using the vehicle of Ukraine, the Western powers are trying to get right up close to Russia's western border, and basically, he's like, something? Yeah, enough's enough. That combined with the fact that Ukraine has been brutalizing and terrorizing the ethnic Russians that actually live in Ukraine for a decade or more. Okay, let's be honest about that. Okay, and these two regions that reached out to Russia and said, please let us become part of the Russian Federation because we can't take it with these Ukrainians anymore. And Russia was like, okay, no problem. Right? That's also what happened. No one wants to talk about that. So this is how I think. I'm old-fashioned when it comes to geopolitics, bro. Countries don't have rights. Citizens have rights. Countries have no rights. If you're a smaller country and you're put up against a giant like Russia, what you have to do is play ball. Figure it out. Smoke a peace pipe. Do something. But you have no quote-unquote right, any more than Cuba has a right to invite Russia to install missiles on its territory. Right? Cuba's a sovereign country. Yeah? Right? But America has said, you don't have the right to do whatever you want because you're too close to us. I mean, hell, some of these Washington cats will act like Cuba doesn't even have the right to have whatever government it wants. And listen, I'm not a socialist, but I don't care if they decide to run their economy according to some dumb, unworkable system. That's their business. But Washington has been the one saying, hey, Cuba doesn't have the right to this and that. And that. Okay, fine. Countries don't have rights. So I don't want to hear about Ukraine has a right to this or right to that. No, citizens have rights. And speaking of rights, how come all these Democrats, because this has been a bipartisan fiasco here. Both parties have been in on this bullshit. All these Democrats have been, Biden, for example, right, have been hot to send guns over to Ukraine so that Ukrainian citizens could arm themselves. And they were running stories in these papers about how some grandmother in Kiev, picked up a Kalashnikov and she's going to defend her home and what have you. So Democrats in particular, right, believe in the right of Ukrainians to defend themselves, armed Ukrainian self-defense, citizen self-defense, but they don't believe in it here. Isn't that something? So I feel a kind of way about trying to protect the quote-unquote rights of some country on the other side of the planet when I can't even get my rights safeguarded here in the country where I was born.
Right.
And last but not least, 5 seconds ago, everyone knew and admitted that Ukraine had a serious problem with neo-Nazis. Everybody was talking about Red Sector and C-17 and so on and so forth, right? And you could look at online magazines and see pictures of these paramilitary groups parading down the street with flags that have swastikas on them. The Sonnenrad, which is another Nazi symbol. The Wolf Angel, which is another one. These guys with the death head pins on the military jackets, the Totenkopf. Okay, more Nazi person, and they weren't hiding it. They were simple and plain with it. What happened to these guys? They got pulled in by the Ukrainian government and seconded to the Ukrainian Department of the Interior. These guys are on the payroll, huh? So all these cats are talking about white supremacy and racist and this and that, but they're all tears and sympathy about Ukraine. You all need to check yourself. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, like I said, you're a small country. You got a big neighbor. Smoke a peace pipe, work it out. But you have no right to anything. So I'm very glad that Trump slammed the brakes on this thing here. I don't want a hot war with Russia. And so whatever we can do to cool this war down and to turn it off, so be it. If it means that Russia gets to claim some more territory, then so be it. If it means that Russia's quote-unquote aggression is rewarded, so be it. I don't care. What I care about is stability. That's what I care about. Because if this thing goes sideways, and you end up in a hot war with the world's biggest nuclear power, half a dozen or a dozen or 2 dozen of your favorite cities will disappear in half an hour. That's what, remember this. This is what the stakes are here. So before we get all tears and sympathy about this and that and whatever, it's like, hey, we want things to be stable and calm, okay? And if that means you got to withdraw the map a little bit, then so be it. I just, bro, I don't care. Like, finish reducing the Ukrainian army to nothing, and then let's get back to other things we have to do here in this country. I'm just not, it's like, I have no sympathy whatsoever. None, zero, zilch, zip, nada. It takes a lot to make me cry. What can I say? Understood. But think about this here for a second, though, Dexter. I want you to think about it this way. Sir.
Let's say that. Let's say you're in New York, right? And let's say if New Jersey, wanted to come and take over, right? And you're like, no, I'm a New Yorkan. I'm gonna always be somebody from New York, and I need to help save my country, right? Isn't that? I mean, because you got Russia, and you got the people of Ukraine who's saying, no, we are Ukrainians. We've always, and that's what we want to be. We don't want to be taken over by Russia, right? We don't want Russia to come in.
The analogy is bad. Russia's not taking over Ukraine. Russia has annexed 2 territories in Ukraine that said they wanted to be part of the Russian Federation. You forget the Republic of Donetsk and the Republic of Luhansk. They had asked once before,
Yep.
back when the Ukrainian government was murdering and torturing and terrorizing Ukrainians, all Ukrainians who happen to be ethnic Russians, right? Like, that's not, I'm not making that up. That happened. Okay. So, what you call it? They asked once, and Putin said, you know something? You're part of Ukraine. Work it out. Leave us out of it. We're not gonna annex you. This time around, they asked, and he said yes, because I think at a certain point the Russians realized we were going to stop NATO's eastern expansion, and they had to put the foot down. So they did, and they annexed those two territories. It wasn't like they went into Donetsk and people were like, "No, we don't know." They were like, "Those places are ethnic Russian. They're majority ethnic Russian in those eastern districts of Ukraine." Okay. So again, I don't see that Russia has any interest in literally taking over the entirety of Ukraine. I don't see it. First of all, they don't need the territory. I mean, Russia is physically the biggest country in the world. They have tons of natural resources. But what do they need Ukraine for? But actually, I mean, let's remember that Ukraine used to be part of Russia. And that's the other thing.
Right.
I mean, the capital of Russia used to be Kiev. Okay? Catherine the Great named the city of Odessa after Odysseus. She was big into Greek mythology. So it's not as if there's no like there are two countries that couldn't be farther apart, and one is just no. They have some. There's some historical connection between them. And in any case, look back to your analogy. What if New Jersey decided to take over New York? Well, I guess New York would have to arm up and fight back. That's all. And listen, if the Ukrainian army, the Ukrainian government wants to arm up and fight Russia, so be it. I'm saying I don't have to pay for it. That's the thing. They want to do it on their own time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
That's it. Yeah. You know, why am I paying for a war that can't be won anyway? The Ukraine cannot win that war. Remember how a couple of years ago when the war had just kicked off, every couple of weeks, right? They're like, oh, we're sending this new weapon to Ukraine, and that's going to really change the game, and that's going to send the Russians home with the tail between them. Didn't happen, right? You remember when Vladimir Putin was dying from 6 types of cancer? You remember when the whole Russian army was getting ready to turn tail and run and mutiny and run away from the battlefield? Remember all that? Remember when the Russian economy was on the brink of collapse? At any minute now, the whole thing would just collapse and everything would be over. Remember that? That was a couple of years ago.
Right.
And here we are. So these people were lying. They were lying to us.
They always do, but.
And so my question is, right, well, exactly. So what else they lied about? So, yeah, you know, I'm delighted that Trump is pulling a plug on this thing. They're going to get, like he said to Zelensky, you're going to have to do a deal. You're going to have to sit down and smoke a peace pipe. You're not going to get everything you want. In fact, you'll be lucky to get anything you want. Because, again, Russia doesn't have to give up that territory, and they're not going to. They're just not. Sorry.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a situation. I think this is going to be a situation that's going to go on for a couple of more years before Zelensky decide to call it good and be like, okay, you can have this here half and this half, but you can't have this other half over here. You can have the bottom part of New York, you know, but you can't have the top part of New York. You know, that's pretty much where I see this thing going.
Here's where I see this thing going. I think Russia might even annex Odessa. They just might. You know what I'm saying? And then they might say, okay, we're good. But then they might say, okay, we're good. Keep in mind, here's the other thing. I just want to point out something. You know, because I remember when me and some other people were following this thing, and, you know, of course, the news networks were in this hysterical thing about war of aggression. Well, all wars are wars of aggression. What other kind of war is there but a war of aggression?
Not true.
Wars are aggressive things, but what you call it? I remember everyone was saying, "Oh, it's a genocide. It's a war." You know, they want to take over the whole country. Now, here's the question: if you're okay, let's say you want to take over New York, right? Or you want to take over New York State, let's say. So, you would think that New York, if you want to completely subjugate and dominate New York State, then New York City would probably be a very attractive target for you. Or any major city. I mean, the capital is really Albany, but Albany, New York is okay. Now, Russia has the ability to level Kiev, but they've got the missiles to do it, right? They've been reliably kind of landing missiles wherever in Ukraine they want. Every few weeks or so, they'll like attack a power plant in the northwest of Ukraine. I mean, it's just like, we can land steel on target whenever we want. Okay, so why didn't they level Kiev first thing? Why? Maybe it's not a war of genocide. Maybe these people have been lying, right? Because again, that's what if the Russians are these bloodthirsty butchers and all they want to do is kill and massacre and and Vladimir Putin is Hitler, then why didn't he just level Kiev?
Because the world will be an outcry. There would have been an outcry like no other.
Outcry already.
There was
an outcry.
Yeah, that's true. But I think.
And what happened? Nothing.
I think it'd been louder though. I think it would have been louder though, Dex. I think
louder. Yes, you know something? You're right. It would have been louder, but it would have been just as effective, which is to say, not effective at all.
Not effective at all.
We hit them with all the sanctions. Remember? We hit them with all the sanctions. What did they do? They shrugged it off. They kept going. Right? What does that tell you? It tells you that they will pay any price for Ukraine not to fall into the Western orbit. So, do we want to call their bluff? I'm not interested in calling their bluff.
Well,
okay. Ukraine, if you want to fight this out, do what you feel. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm trying to think. I was sitting here trying to think of the name of the country that actually got behind them and said that we're going to give you $90 billion or something like that over a certain period of time. My whole thing is I'm waiting for China to step up and go, okay, we're going to step into this here. Because they've been really quiet on this here whole front.
Well, no, they haven't. They're fully on Russia's side. No, they're fully on Russia's side. I think it's not even a question. It's obvious. They said it. They're like, yep, we're going to keep. We're sending them weapons and this and that, and we're going to keep a brisk trade with them. And,
right.
Yeah, nothing's changed for us. Yeah, they're so China. If anyone thinks China is going to step in and tell Russia to back up, that's not going to happen. Absolutely not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna tell them to back up, but I just got a feeling that they're looking at this as a way to get in and not to make a difference, but when it all smooths out, and if Ukraine holds on to whatever they want to hold on to, then they can bring that technology in there and start doing
I don't agree with that at all, because first of all, that technology is in there anyway. In other words, where are Ukrainians getting this punished for their cell phone anyway? Like now, from China, everyone's getting their punished from China. Right?
Oh yeah.
So right. So that's what I'm saying. It's like the weapons we're sending to Ukraine, the ones that have computer chips in them, where are those computer chips being made? In China, right? Like, you already got Chinese chips in all your weapons. You already got. So no, I don't think there's any special need for China to get into Ukraine. Whoever ends up running the country is going to need all the same things anyone else who's running a modern country needs, and so China will be there like any other modern industrial nation will be there.
You're breaking up.
Any special need? Yeah, sorry. I was saying, whoever runs Ukraine in the next 6 months or a year or 6 years or whatever, that's going to be a market for Chinese goods, because the whole world is basically a market for Chinese goods. So I don't see that China has to do any special thing,
right?
To turn Ukraine into a market for Chinese goods. You know what I'm saying? It's like it already is. So, and I don't think China cares who runs Ukraine. And I think China might be happy to see us get $1 billion over this thing. Just being honest, I think China would be delighted to see Russia get everything it wants. Because you know something? There's a large part of the world that's like, yeah, we love you Americans, but you're in everybody's shit too much.
Yeah,
you need a knockback.
That's true.
Right?
That's
you
true.
have 1 minute left.
Right? Yeah, we've been fighting all these third-rate, beautiful non-powers for decades, and it's like a lot of people are saying, take it easy already. You're going too far. So yeah, I have no sympathy. I think Ukraine has been basically a money laundry, masquerading as a nation state, and I just no, like who would you feel Ukraine, but not on my dime. We have a nation to build here. So that's it. I'm gonna jump off the cry.
Sounds good. Talk to you in a minute.
The caller has hung up.
All right. So, again, for those who are new, I always have to announce that because I've seen a lot of people jump on here within the last, holy smoke. Yeah, a lot of people have jumped on here within the last probably last time we hooked up with Dexter, went and had to reconnect with us. So we are talking to Dexter Taylor straight out of prison. Again, he's on a computer is what he's using. He uses the prison Wi-Fi, so it may go in and go out a little bit. So if you could just hang in there with us, we'd definitely appreciate that. For those who don't know anything about Dexter, you can go to my page or go to You Are a Smartass Carl. That's you are underscore at smartass car C, and all his information will be on one of those pages if you want to catch up with where we're at when it comes to Dexter. What we do is on Sundays, Dexter calls in. We talk to Dexter. Like I said, to keep his name out there, to introduce him to new people who don't know who he is, things of that sort, and to try to keep his mind sane too. I mean, you think about being locked up. Well, he's been on lockup now because the prison guards are on strike. So you got this man sitting in a cell for 24 hours. So this is what we like to do. So we're going to do everything we possibly can do to help get him out of there, someplace that he should not be. But I think Carl said he was. Are we back, Dex?
Yep, we're back.
Oh, there he is. Sounds like a deal.
There he is.
So, but yeah.
Yeah.
We'll I guess we're all gonna sit back and see how this here whole thing plays out, man. I hope it don't. I hope it don't run into the point to where, like they said, you're gonna cause World War III. I don't think anybody's ready for that at all. But if they can find a way to come to some type of ceasefire and call it good, that would be awesome. But if not, they're just gonna keep fighting and keep spending money and keep wasting money and keep wasting ammo and innocent people are gonna die.
Well, keep wasting lives. Right?
Yeah.
Keep wasting lives.
Keep wasting lives.
It's such a waste. It was so unnecessary. It was so unnecessary. But again, people just need to remember that when the date that everyone assigns, for when this war began is off by 8 years. This was back when I think it was when Obama was president, and we basically engineered a coup to dislodge the existing president in Ukraine, who had been democratically elected.
Was that Clinton?
Too friendly to Russia.
Was that Clinton or was that?
It might have been. Now I forget.
Because in '93 is when they said.
No, that was.
Was it?
Mm-hmm. 93 is what?
In '93 is when they signed. When they decided to give over all them nukes and all of that type of stuff. I was just wondering if that was under Clinton.
Well, that was. No. That's it. I'm not talking about that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Remember also, this is the other thing people have to remember. I'm glad you mentioned the news, but you have to remember that those nukes did not belong to Ukraine. People need to stop it. I remember when they would say, "Oh, well, you see that what happened? Ukraine gave up its nukes." Listen, those nukes were not Ukrainian nukes; those were Russian nukes stationed on Ukrainian territory. That's what that was. They were never under the control of the Ukrainian government in any meaningful sense. That's the first thing. Those were Russian weapons. And when the Soviet Union collapsed, and when Russia started to withdraw from a whole bunch of its territories, one of the things it did was remove those nuclear weapons from Ukraine. That's all that happened. Ukraine didn't give up anything that it owned because it never owned those nukes. That's the first thing. Now, as far as what I'm talking about, the thing I'm talking about happened under Clinton, I believe. And this was when, Victoria Nuland and a bunch of other U.S. foreign policy actors essentially engineered a coup in Ukraine, and they removed the president who had been democratically elected because he was too friendly to Russia. They just right. Okay. Along with that came this kind of spasm, wave of violence against ethnic Ukrainians. This was the whole Maidan crisis. Okay. At one point, a bunch of these same Ukrainian paramilitaries barricaded a bunch of ethnic Russians inside a trade union building and set it on fire, killed everyone inside. Right? All kinds of kidnappings and extrajudicial killings and what have you. Okay? And that's what the ethnic Russians living in Ukraine have been going through ever since the Maidan revolution, as they call it, or the Maidan crisis. All right? So this war has deep roots. And I just want to speaking of roots, I just want to remind everyone who's a conservative, that if you're listening and you're a conservative member, this is exactly the kind of thing that the founders warned about, that the framers warned about. They were like, don't get into all that European bullshit. Let them fight it out amongst each other. Stay out of it. And it seems like in the last few decades, right, we've had a succession of governments and all they've been doing is trying to find new excuses as to why things that really are not our business are our business. Why we should get involved in European entanglements, and it's like there's no good reason for that. We can protect ourselves and protect our people, and I'm all for that, obviously. But as a matter of fact, our people will be safer if there's some incentive for other countries not to attack us. And right now, we've kind of been removing that incentive. We're always in everybody's shit. And there's no percentage in leaving us alone because we're always in everybody's shit. If, on the other hand, we say, look, if you hire the wrong, if you elect the wrong person, we don't care. If you decide to go with some dumb economic system like socialism, we don't care. Your business. Do what you feel. And if you decide you want to align yourself with some other power that we don't like in trade or whatever, do what you feel. If you attack our people, if you harm our people, we'll come over there and kill all you sons of bitches. Now that's a policy I can get behind. Because it's like, yeah, leave us alone and we'll leave you alone.
True.
If not, it's going to be a problem. That's it. But if you always picking a fight with everybody, well, at a certain point, there's no downside to someone just taking a shot at you. You might as well go for a title shot, right? So, and it wasn't that long ago that people said that openly. People in Washington, Republicans, as it turned out, were like, yeah, we're going to remake the whole Middle East. You're going to remake the Middle East, really? Is that what you're going to do? You're going to remake the Middle East. How did that work out? Right? Oh, yeah, no problem. They want to knock down this government and then knock down this government, and people better watch out because it's a new sheriff in town, all that bullshit. Okay, and it costs money and American lives, not to mention the lives of millions of foreigners as well. Didn't do anything for us. So enough already. Enough already. You know, now we're sizing up against a power that's a real continental maneuver force, a real like land army with all types of artillery and guided missiles and all types of shit. Like no, I'm sorry, no, back away. Let those people work it out, and let's get about the business of rebuilding this nation, and being the nation that will trade with anybody and that will talk to anybody. So I think, what business would you like to do with us? That should be the only question. That's what I think.
Yeah. Well, I think also a large part of the problem is if we run a blinder to everybody that's what's not being, everything that's done out there, they're gonna try to make us believe that all these powers are gonna get together and they're gonna come after us. So we've got to keep our fingers in the pot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We got to keep our fingers in the pot. So we know what's going on. We just can't go, okay, let's just do America and America only, right? Even though
that was an argument. Yeah, I've heard that argument.
You heard that? Okay. Yeah, that's the one that's what gets me.
I've heard that argument. See, I've heard that argument before, but that argument is no longer valid in the age of nuclear weapons. You know what I'm saying? Like it's no longer valid in age. And by the way, keeping in mind that it takes an incredible amount of energy and logistics to get to us in the first place. How are you going to get to us? Okay, but you're gonna launch aircraft, really? And they're gonna fly across the Atlantic or across the Pacific, and then do what before they run out of fuel? Okay, so you're gonna have to scale your Navy to get to us, really? So you're gonna launch who's gonna launch a Navy against us? Who exactly? Who's got a Navy that's big enough? I mean, Russia's got a pretty big Navy, but unless Russia plays nice with Turkey and all the other and Turkey and the Mediterranean powers, Russia's Navy is entirely bottled up in the Black Sea. It's the world's most expensive bath toy. So how's Russia going to get to us with its fleet? Not right. Who else? Who else has a big enough fleet, aircraft carriers and so on, so they could actually sail and present some kind of meaningful threat of invasion? Nobody. Which is why the founding fathers said, listen, don't worry about the European entanglement. By the way, at the time, we didn't have any Navy to speak of. That's what the funny thing is. At the time when the founding fathers said, avoid foreign entanglement, stay out of Europe's affairs, stay out of all these European intrigues, the American Navy was nothing to speak of. And everyone knew that the British Navy was where it was at. It's like Britain, Spain, France. Okay. So they already knew that there were major powers that we really didn't stand a chance of defeating in a land war. They knew that, right? And they still said what they said. So if it was valid then, it's valid now. Because what we have now that we didn't have then is, a few hundred nuclear weapons tucked away under the sofa cushions. Right, so no one's and one of the world's largest navies. So, and eyes in the sky, right? And a network of satellites looking at everything and everybody, right? So no one's getting the drop on us. No one's getting the drop on us. It's not happening. The only way people get the drop on us, if they have been getting the drop on us, is when we decide to nose in other people's business, send our young men overseas, put them in the crosshairs, and then when that happens, hell, any dude with wearing flip flops and an AK-47 with a second shot under his arm can get the drop on our guys because we took him over there, right? So yeah, it's like you can't name me one world power that feels like it can blow up on us and send an invasion force over here to do what?
Yeah, that's true.
How? Right. I mean, people talk about China's Navy. I'm not impressed with China's Navy, actually. I'm not. Like, really? You haven't been blooded. You haven't had any great battles. You haven't done anything. Stop it. like China, and for that matter, China's military, I'm also not impressed with. Like, do something other than just like mow down protesting students in Tiananmen Square. Then I'll be impressed, because that doesn't equal military competence growth. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, that's right. You can break up a bunch of monks, you know, the thing in Tibet. You can shoot down some students in Tiananmen Square. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. I'm not impressed. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I think. You know, we can defend ourselves just fine. What we can't defend ourselves against, right, or what we haven't been defending ourselves against, is destruction from within. That's what we took our eye off.
There you go.
That's the problem, right? We have governments, you know, that have kind of challenged. They've challenged common sense and common decency. It's like they're trying to dismantle those things. They're trying to dismantle the very mechanism by which we can reason together as a people. They're trying to dismantle the family, right? They're trying to dismantle all the things that civilization is actually based on. That's the problem. That's the problem.
Well, we
gotta fix that first.
Yeah. We spoke. You know, it's just like I said when we first came on. Pretty much that if we learn, if we haven't learned that coming together can make a difference and turn tides, then we're never going to learn and understand that, and we're just going to let this opportunity go by. And that's what's sad about it. You know what I mean? It's sad that we would do that when right now we have that opportunity to jump up and go. But let me do this here real quick, because we literally had a flood of probably about 100 people come into the room here within the last
get out of here.
We're at about 800 people right now sitting in the room with us. But let me go back over what I got on my head. I stand with Dexter Taylor. This is my black one, my black hat. I do have a red hat also. I got to get with Carl and see how things are going with the sweat. I got to get me a sweatshirt. That's what I'm clamoring for. But I haven't bugged Carl because I got to get a sweatshirt. I haven't bugged Carl too much because, you know, Carl's a new daddy now. Now that he's a new daddy, I can bother him. I wasn't gonna bother him while he was becoming a new daddy, because I know there's a lot of things he was trying to get done and take care of his wife and things of that sort. But, you know, now I can bug him. I can be like his kid's gonna do him. Gonna bug him every time he turn around. Daddy, 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 daddy. Can't wait for that. So, anyway, right? Anyway, but these hats, you can definitely get yourself a Dexter Taylor hat, please, ma'am and sir. We do ask that, you know, if you can, to help out a little bit on some of the bills that this man has to pay for being railroaded by the Democratic ops. That's what they are. They're just ops, and see if we can't make some moves or talk to somebody. And if you know somebody, especially somebody upper in, you know, on Twitter, Facebook, or whatever genre you use, please reach out to them. I mean, we'll you know, and let us see if they can actually do something or say something. I mean, word of mouth is awesome. That's the most awesomest thing ever, is your mouth just talking to somebody that you know. If especially if you got a gun club or something like that, and you coming up with you're talking about certain things. Let's talk about Dexter Taylor. Let them know about Dexter. Let them know the things that this man has gone through and why he's in the situation and he's in right now. And then we can go from there. All right. But again, hats, I got the black one on tonight. Probably next Sunday you'll see me in the red one, and hopefully by the end of the month I will have a sweatshirt to be showing off for you with that.
Oh
Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
With that said, is there anything you want to say about your case for some of the people who don't know Dexter? Because, like I said, every Sunday I think we get new people who wait until later on to ask questions. Oh, real quick. So my message get up thing is not working this Sunday for some reason on here. So if you have a question, if you just want to say what's up to Dexter, things of that sort, just put it on my page or Carl's page, and we'll be able to read Dexter's those messages and things of that sort. So I don't know why it's not working. I haven't figured that out yet. I'm just happy that I'm on. And if you just jumped in on late, you can go to my Let's Rip It Up YouTube page, and you can listen to this here back also. So just putting that out there also. I do have YouTube now. Check me out. So but is there something you want to
you, man?
Yeah, right? All right, check me out.
What
right?
I want to say, let's see. Well, I mean, look, for anyone who's just now learning about my case, I would say, what I always say is it's probably a skepticism, right? I mean, it's what's happened in my case is so egregious. It's such an obvious infringement of civil rights that I think that people's first instinct is likely to be, hang on a second, there must be something else here. And now, as a matter of fact, there isn't, but they're right to suspect that there is. So what I would say is the father skepticism. Go find out everything you can about the case. Go find out, that I was building weapons in my home. I have a right to do that. No, I wasn't talking anything crazy online because New York State subpoenaed my emails. They seized my devices. They know, who I was talking to and what about. Well, maybe your politics were kind of crazy. Well, you can go look at my politics. You can literally go to the Infinite Jigsaw podcast on YouTube, the Infinite Jigsaw, and listen to me talking about the Foundationist Manifesto. I have a manifesto, but it's not a crazy one, right? By all means, maybe you had a criminal record. By all means, go and find out that I didn't have a criminal record. That I was a member in good standing of my local gun range, that I was a licensed amateur radio operator, that I have 30 some odd years in the software industry, right? I'm a lifelong New Yorker. Go run down all the angles, right? And then once you've satisfied yourself that what is happening really is as outrageous as it sounds, then turn around and spread the word, because visibility is what's important to us. Right now, we have a window while the Trump DOJ is tasked with addressing civil rights violations, specifically in the form of infringement on Second Amendment rights. Right? Trump gave that over, and they're moving on that. So we want to make sure that we get a lot of eyeballs on this case when the Trump DOJ is done looking at whatever federal agencies they're looking at. They're going to turn their attention to the states, and New York is one of the states. And New York has indeed been systematically violating the Second Amendment rights of citizens. Okay, so that's the first thing I'd urge people to do. And the second thing I'd urge them to do is just remember that this is, again, we are talking about civil rights. I think it's most helpful when people say things online, when people advocate on behalf of me, on behalf of this case. It's important to keep in mind that it's not just about me. It is about the civil rights of Americans. When I hear people say, well, we need to get Dexter Taylor out of prison, look, I want to get out of here too. But this is not just about me. This is about all our citizens, all our American brethren on U.S. soil, okay, who are not enjoying equal protection under the laws of this land because of Democrats. I mean, let's just be honest. So that's the thing. We have to stay focused on civil rights because that's what this is. It's a civil rights case. We can have all the arguments about how, we need permits for public carriage. Yeah, but I wasn't carrying anything publicly. If the Second Amendment protects anything, it is the right to keep and bear arms peaceably, quietly, and privately in your home. And if we let this stand, I mean, again, quite apart from me, it wouldn't matter who's sitting in this cell right now. If we let it stand that local governments can do that in defiance of the highest court in the land, then the Second Amendment is a dead letter. If the Second Amendment does not at least protect your right to keep and bear arms in your house as a peaceable, law-abiding, clean citizen, then the Second Amendment is a dead letter. Give it up. It's over. Just stop pretending. Right? So that's what I'd say. This is this is where it's at. This is where the fight is. And I'm grateful to everyone who has stood up, who has sent messages of moral support, material support, and sent me books. Oh, Doc from Twitter, I believe, just sent me 2 books that actually got here. I'm looking at my copy of The Complete Federalist Papers, Federalist and Anti-Federalist Papers, and The Moon is a Harsh Mistress by Robert Heinlein. So, Doc, if you're listening, thank you, brother. I'm grateful to everyone who handed me a microphone, and invited me to talk about my case so that other people could hear it. I'm grateful to people like Jeff Charles, who's written up my case in Town Hall, townhall.com. Grateful to Carl and my whole Twitter circle, you, Sonny Johnson, Crystal, the brothers and sisters from Chicago Red. I mean, everybody. It's like I can't stress enough how much that means. To know that, one, that I'm not doing this by myself, and 2, that I'm rolling with the very best, with the best there is. I'm rolling with the best this republic has to offer. That means a lot to me, So all we have to do is just stay in the fight, and remember what our focus is and what our mission is. And our mission is to simply remind these local and state governments of their place. That's all. That they're welcome to do what they can in terms of law enforcement and whatever, but they can't break the laws of the land. To find a way to fight violence and to fight the street gangs or whatever without stepping on people's constitutional rights. And it's possible to do. More than half the states in the country have constitutional carry. You can carry in the street without a permit. So if they can do it, New York can do it. And that's it. Rant over. That's what I have to say.
Yeah, there we go. Period. Point blank. But anyway, so tomorrow, I am going. We're gonna go ahead and probably end this probably about 9:30 tonight. Because I gotta go plug up because I'm going to a rally on tomorrow. And so the rally is having to do with men, and I'm gonna put it that way, in women's sports.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah. So we're having they're having a rally here because the Democrats are choosing to die on this hill that. That it's okay for a 22-year-old man to go up against 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23-year-old females and try to act as if just because they take these blockers or whatever, I don't know what it is, but and try to act like it is a fair competition. So Trump, basically told all of these here states who wants to die on this hill, hey, if you decide that this is where you want to go, you won't get any more state money, right? So tomorrow,
Oh, so he's gonna squeeze up on the Title IX funding.
yeah. That's about the only way. That's about the only way you can stop these knuckleheads, right? From doing stupid things.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, here in Minnesota, they've got the vote tomorrow. They're gonna be voting tomorrow, and it's gonna be curious, really, how this thing's going to slide here in Minnesota, because we've got a big push to do everything in a way of trying to make transgenders who nobody's bothering them, but they're putting this out as if like it's a bad thing. It's a bad thing that I want my granddaughter to compete against little girls who look like them, who act like them, versus some little boy that mommy said, not the boy, mommy said was a little girl, feels that he's a little girl, so he should be able to play in the little girl sports. So we've got that rally tomorrow at the Capitol. Yeah, so
yeah, that's good. Yeah, I mean, this is what I mean, right? This is what I mean about the fight the fights we have to be involved in here at home.
1 minute left.
I mean, this is a famous socialist, Antonio Gramsci, who said, if I can destroy common sense, I can destroy civilization. There we go. There it is. Right?
Yeah.
What are you waiting for? The fight's on. They don't have to guess. They told you. They told you what it is. So yeah, I'm very glad you all are going there to fight that fight, because you got to fight these people everywhere. Everywhere. So yeah, I just heard the 1 minute warning, so I'm gonna jump off and come right back.
Sounds like a deal.
Yeah.
The caller has hung up.
All right, so Dexter's gonna come back, and we're gonna do probably another 30 minutes here, and then we're gonna call it good. Like I said, here in Minnesota, they're having a rally. I think Riley, I forgot her last name, the little swimmer girl, supposed to be here in town today, and she's supposed to be at the rally on tomorrow to tell the state of Minnesota that we're not going to have a situation where we're going to have guys going up against females. Look, I have nothing against people who believe that there's something that, what they believe. I have no problem with that. But when you start pushing your beliefs on me and on the people around, then that's when I start having a problem. And like I said before, I have a granddaughter, a biological granddaughter, and I have I still call her my granddaughter, who is not a biological, but I got two females in my family that will be playing sports. I will not, period, point blank, walk out on a sports playing field other than soccer. Well, my
I got a question for you.
What's that?
Well, I'm sorry. Go on.
Oh, my grandson, he's 5 years old, right? And they played soccer, beginning soccer. I could see at 5 years old the difference between my grandson, because it was a co-ed soccer league. All the kids have to be 5. They could be male and female, right? You could see the difference at 5 years old. My grandson was faster than all the girls. All the boys on the team were faster than all the boys on the team will have the ball all the way down here, and a lot of the girls on the team would just be coming up the field. And these are short fields. These are not normal big soccer fields. These are just for 5-year-old kids that's on these short fields. And you could tell the difference. You could see the difference. Nah.
Anybody can see the difference.
Nah.
Anybody can see the difference who's not an idiot or a liar. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what we got. We got these idiots and liars telling us, oh, it's this and that, and they're all the same. But listen, stop it. That's what like people, and some of us have well, look, we're worshiping the wrong thing. I mean, that's what it is. Like you're a church man, Reverend. I am on Team Jesus, and I really do believe that as a practical matter. David Foster Wallace said this, and I agree. As a practical matter, there are no atheists. As a practical day-to-day matter, everybody worships something, and I think a lot of us have gotten into the bad habit of worshiping tolerance. Of worshiping at the altar of yes. Worshiping at the altar of, yeah, it's okay. And something, for some things, that's fine. It's like, oh, okay, well, this person's a Catholic, this person's a Protestant. Okay, well, smoke a piece, try to get along. We're not going to have any of that religious persecution business. Okay. But for some other things, like you have to be able to say no. You're not gonna do yourself any favors or your children any favors or your society any favors by saying yes to everything, by worshiping at the altar of it's all right. It's not all right. This here is not all right. No, the answer is no. And by the way, I'm not using your special words neither. Huh? I'm not doing it. Now what? See, America. I'm gonna cut off this rant because I could rant forever. But Americans need to get more uppity, Reverend Tim. You know, Americans need to take some. Listen, some of our white brethren need to take some uppity lessons from us because y'all too nice. Well, it's okay. No. No. The answer is no. Oh, that means you're okay. So then that's what you think. You think I'm a hate-filled whatever. So be it. But the answer is still no. Now what you gonna do? Now what? Huh? Answer is still no. See, I mean, sometimes that just is how it is, Reverend. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just how it is. You just have to stand up and be like, yeah, no. And especially when it comes to kids who like. We are put it to protect them. That's our job. What do you mean you're going to let these political hacks and these activists and these wannabe kid touchers, which a lot of these people are, come in our kids' schools and say that girls can't have their own bathrooms to themselves and young women can't have their own spaces to themselves. No. I'm sorry. No. In fact, I'm not sorry. No.
Totally agree with you.
So
totally agree with you. I mean, I've coached Little League baseball and just baseball period for going on 24 years. I know the difference when they're in Little League. You got some girls that are really, really good, and they've played Little League. I've coached girls at 12 years old. Some girls are really, really, really good when it comes to baseball. But then on that next level, then you got the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade level is when the girls usually drop off because the balls get faster with boys hitting them. They're throwing them a lot faster. And the girls go to softball because they literally can't hang, and the bases get a lot wider. And it's hard for them to even make it down. I mean, off of usually a single for a guy would be an out, basically for a female. And like I said, and same thing with basketball. You look at women's basketball and men's basketball. You don't have women playing. You don't have the women's playing above the rim. You understand what I'm saying? They're not dunking at all. When I watch a women's basketball game, I don't watch it for dunking. I watch it because I know the
fundamental ball handling.
There you go, ball handling, and just the fundamental part of the game. When I watch, Juju, when I watch Juju play when she plays, that girl is unbelievable. Do I believe she can go to the NBA? No, I do not. No, I do not. But the worst player in the NBA right now can go into the WNBA and be a superstar, right? And we don't want that. We don't, and it's always funny to me how you always get these men who think they're women always want it, but you never see women talking about going playing football, playing in the NFL. You never see women talking about playing
or boxing or boxing with men.
Exactly.
Right.
You never see it pretty much the other way around. You always see these failed athletes in their era always turn around and say, well, I failed in my gender class. I'm going to go and be a woman.
So I'm gonna.
And we have a problem here in Minnesota also, where you've got men who are saying I'm a woman, and they're putting them in women prisons. Well, there's a problem. Can you take a guess what that problem may be?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
We have that problem
here.
This
has been happening, by the way, for a while.
Right.
Yeah. Listen, I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of friends in the UK. A lot of people in the Foundation of Society, which I founded, also in the UK. And so I've been following things over there for a while. I mean, they've had these problems with these basically male sexual predators identifying as women, going into women's prisons and raping female inmates.
That's right.
I mean, now look. So that's what I'm saying. Like we've got government, we've got people in government who won't even fulfill the basic functions of government by protecting the things that need to be protected.
That's right.
So we have to step up. That's it.
Well, I'm glad you say that because if we have in-house people, right? So, woman, she goes to jail for something. She should be protected even in jail. I a lot of people, she shouldn't be in there. Well,
of course. No, it's like, no, you've decided to take responsibility for this person. You're locking this person up. So now the person can't defend themselves, all right? Can't provide for themselves. So, of course, being in prison is the ultimate form of dependency on the state. That's just how it is. Exactly. So the state is responsible for medical services, emergency services, whatever, and it's also responsible for making sure that you don't house male sexual predators with a bunch of women. This shit should be obvious.
You would think, right? I mean, 2 and 2.
Really?
It is 4. But not in the liberal Democratic mind. I mean, 2 and 2 is 3. As far as they're concerned, and then go ahead.
I'll tell you what makes it so. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say. I'll tell you what makes it so bad, right? Yeah, I'll tell you what makes it so bad. You can't even really say that they're hunting for votes by doing this shit, because the fact is there's not that many trans people walking around. I mean, it's not a demographic the way like working class tradesmen in major cities, West Indian Americans in the city of New York, Polish Americans, whatever. It's not even a demographic like that you have to kind of pay attention to. It's a very small minority of people. Now, we believe in rights, rights of the minority in this country. That is important. They have to protect minority rights. Okay, but minority rights have to be limited in some way. You can't say that because someone is a minority, they have a right to everything. That can't be right. And that's what they're like, saying like we can't be led by people who say yes to everything. Leadership means saying no to some things.
That's right.
That's what leadership is. Like if you know that, I mean, we're all fathers, Carlos recently joined the club. If you're a real parent, if you're really in there doing the job, then what part of what you're doing is saying no. you got to be able to say no to your kids. And we've all seen what happens when kids grow up, right? And no one has ever said no to them. It's not good for them. It's not good for the people around them. So, yeah.
So that's what we're having here in Minnesota tomorrow. That's what we've been fighting here in Minnesota. Well, like I said, Minnesota is a blue state. It's always going to be a blue state. We just don't have the Republicans here that can make a difference at all. It's almost like
I don't think it's always gonna be a blue state.
No, trust me.
Here's the question.
Go ahead.
Was Michigan? Okay, wasn't Michigan a blue state until it wasn't? Right? I mean, let's be honest. Look, we like to act like these things only go one way. I mean, Colorado. You would have thought that Colorado was always going to be a deep red state. Well, actually, Colorado's kind of purple now. Right? And could it change to a blue state? Yes, it could. A lot of people in Colorado would say it's already there.
But they don't have
one direction, it can happen in the other.
They don't have crazy people there. See, we got crazy. We
Oh yes, they. Oh yes. Oh no. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Listen, anyway, especially in Colorado, in places like Denver, Vail. Listen, whenever you have people with more money and more money than sense, you're gonna have crazy people there. Trust
right.
So all I'm saying is, I mean, I agree. I know what you mean. It's like Minnesota is what it is what it is now. All
right.
I'm saying is that remember, part of what I mean when I talk about not giving up on cities, that's also part of what I mean. Is to say, well, no, everything's up for grabs. Everything. Every state, every city, it's all up for grabs. I don't know that. Look, in other words, as far as I'm concerned, Minnesota's problem is the same as New York's problem is. Well, you haven't had good conservatives come through and actually talk to the people.
That's pretty much where you're at.
That's the problem.
That right there is what you just said.
To me, the real problem, we come back to the real problem, which is the leadership of the Republican Party and the way it's structured and the way the money is run and the way the resources are allocated, right? But look, the good news is this. We're seeing in real time a populist conservative movement. A populist conservative movement that's been so successful that it's in the White House twice with very weird interlude where stolen election, all that good stuff, right? But populist conservatism is a thing now. And so, I anything could happen. This is American politics. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. I don't think that's the only thing. I mean, I don't think anyone. I think New York is always going to be a blue state. New York is actually a very good state now, except for New York. So all you need is, 1 or 2 terms of a really like a solid conservative, like someone who's real, someone who knows how to talk to people. Someone who's not simply there to make excuses for bad cops, but who really understands the partnership between police and the community that good policing requires. Someone who understands that, like, you want growth, but growth in Wall Street, growth in speculative activity doesn't necessarily help the whole economy. You need the growth in the economic activity. Economic activities that involve doing things and making things. That's where broad economic growth comes from. There are conservatives like that walking the earth. We can find them. It's just a matter of finding them and then helping them win. So that's rant over. But yeah, that's what I think.
Right. So, but man, like I said, we're just trying to get by. With everything, but it is what it is. We just gotta we just gotta realize again, like we talked about. We just gotta realize that we really have to stick together on this one. This is a time that we all have to come together. We have to throw away the racism, and all this here type of stuff, and just go, hey, let's punch this thing out of the park, because I believe this is it for some of us when it comes to trying to make a difference. I see a lot of these here so-called Gen Xers who are scrambled because they don't know which way to go. They really honestly don't. I take my two boys. When I sit and I talk to them about this stuff and how they should see things and how they should see the world, they're just all over the place, man. They're literally just all over the place.
Yeah.
Gets to the point. Sometimes I look at, I go, well, we're done with this conversation. You know what I mean? But we've got to keep trying to reach out and grab them and bring them into the fold and try to make them understand that everything that we have tried to do is for their good. And if we fix it, then we need to make sure you know how to keep fixing it if it ever breaks. That's the whole thing that I look at.
That's right.
I'm gonna do my best to fix it. And if we get it fixed, we've got to teach the next generation that if it breaks somewhere, you've got to learn how to fix it. That's the problem. We were never taught how to fix it, right? We was always taught how to fight the power.
By the way, yeah, that's right. Right, but not how to fix it. That's exactly right. Well, part of the reason is that I like what you said. It's like we taught to fight the power, but no one ever bothered to tell the young activists what the purpose of power is. Power is for. Mm-hmm. Power, like any other instrument, power has a right purpose, right? This goes back to what I'm always saying, Reverend. You got to get the theology right. You got to get you need that spiritual revolution first, right? What is the right use of power, right? What do citizens owe each other? What do citizens owe the state? What does the state owe it? These questions are so deep, they're almost religious questions, which is as it should be. And we have to be unafraid to ask those questions. And we have to be unafraid to wrestle with coming up with answers to those questions so we can talk with our kids about it. So they're not just this. So we don't raise a generation that's just simping for a party. We raise a generation that understands, oh, wait a minute, yeah, this is right and this is wrong. And these are the right purposes of this thing. This is what this thing is for. And so then when they go and try to fix something, they understand, that they have in their mind the ideal. Because if you're going to fix something, you have to have an ideal already. It's funny because adults it's fashionable for adults to say, oh, you can't be an idealist because this and that. But listen, everyone who fixes things is an idealist. They have to be. I mean, even, mechanics, car mechanics, plumbers, you name it. Like, you have to be an idealist because you have to have an ideal in your mind of what the correct function is in the first place. So you know it when you get there.
Yeah.
If you want someone who fixes things, that person has to be an idealist. They have to have ideals. And then they also have to know how to pick up their tools and work in the actual world that we live in. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, all these things are very deep problems, and I think we can solve them, but it's just, we got to get that right place in our minds. And we have to do it together, Reverend. As you and I always said, it's like, there's no viable future where, half the country just goes off and just watches the other half bird and laughs and everything is fine. No, it's like we're stuck with each other.
Yeah.
This is our home.
Yeah.
And we're going to stand together and defend our home together, or we won't have a home. It's as simple as that. That's it.
That part. And that's,
we're going to love each other or perish. That's it.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly, that part, and that's the whole thing. Why I try to get everybody to understand that, like you said, I'm not going anywhere. Other than meeting my maker, right? So if we can all come together and try to make this comfortable for everybody, you know what I mean? That would be awesome because that's where we're supposed to be. Mm-hmm. Another problem is,
yes,
there's a lot of people don't have that God spirit, that God presence. God's presence and his spirit is God's like, you know what? I'm out of here. Y'all acting up again. I got to go. Period, point blank. We don't, that's why the churches are going downhill right now. These mega churches came into existence and they showed the greed that was out there. You don't hear.
Yeah.
You don't hear.
Yeah.
I go to other, like if I don't preach on a Sunday, I'll go to another church because I want to hear what they are preaching. I want to see what's out there. You don't really hear pastors preaching the word anymore. I mean the true honest word of the Bible. They've got to soften it up now to get people to come to church.
Yeah.
They've got to be soft. They're not coming straight out and saying, "You devil, you sinner." You don't see it, too many pastors out there preaching the word, truly saying what people are. We are sinners. Period, point blank.
Yeah, they're getting
full stop.
They're getting soft. Yeah, they're getting soft.
And they sit there and go, well, I can't call my congregation sinners. Yes, you can. Because every single one of them are sinners. There's a reason they're in church. They're here to hear a good word,
right,
so they can apply it to life as they go on. But we're so afraid that if we call them sinners, they're not coming back the next Sunday, and I'm not going to get that $2-3 in that plate.
Well, see, this is why like as in many other things, I'm down with everything shrinking way down. Like I've told a lot of my religious friends, a lot of my Christian brethren, that like it's time for for Christianity to go back to its roots. And that means like small and local and out of control. You know what I'm saying? Like the early Christians in Rome. Like, okay, here we are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna meet tonight. You know, so and so place, whatever. You know, it's like I think a lot of people are turned off. I mean, really, to be honest, Reverend, I think that when you mentioned mega churches, I think in the 80s when American evangelicals started to really go all in for the Republican Party, and it wouldn't matter which party it was, but in this case it was Republican Party. I think that was an enormous mistake, because then now you know that tars Christianity with the brush of every bad thing that a Republican president may have done. And that's what I said. It wouldn't matter what party we're talking. Like political, Christians should not be lining themselves up with political parties. They should be lining themselves up with values. You know, and I think a lot of people have been turned off by that and continue to be turned off by that. But I think that can change, and it's obvious. It's probably obvious to you too that people need meaning. People need meaning in their lives, you know. And I think Christianity is uniquely kind of the primary benefit is that I believe it's true. But I also believe that it's uniquely poised to show people how to live meaningful lives, how to make sense of what's happening around them, and how to do it in a way that how can I put this? How to do it in a way that draws in other people, right? So, but I think a lot of the trappings and a lot of the extras that Christianity has kind of piled on itself, I think a lot of those have to go. Look, it's like anything else. You want the car to go faster? Well, you take off of that extra shit. Take out the back seats. Take out you don't take that off. Right? It's like we got to strip this thing down now because we got to go really fast. So it's the same thing. I think we could do with a kind of a stripped down thing. I think the more Joel Osteens there are, the worse for everybody. Because it's like this guy is saying the exact opposite of what you go read in the book. You know, So it's kind of like, okay, well, if you guys don't have it together, then how can we, young people who are trying to figure things out, what are we going to get from you? Nothing. So again, I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm hopeful. This is certainly a great time, a great opportunity for Christians and for Christianity. But we can't keep doing the same things and expect different results.
That's right.
That's it.
That's right. No, we've got to get to we got to get back to our ground roots, and I believe that's being Christians and doing the things that book tells us to do. I mean, that book gives us every reason to want to be close to God, and as long as we stay outside of His realm, we're going to be who we are today. We're not going to love each other. We're not going to see each other as each other's brethren at all. So that means I don't want to help you. You don't want to help me. We can't get in the same space. And as long as we're not in the same space, then things are just not going to work right for us. No ifs, no ands, no buts. And that's just what I believe. I mean, I'm tired of worrying about certain things that's going to go on in the community, and you got other people who want to clap for it. You know what I mean? And then want to sit back and talk about it. There's black on black crime. No, there's poverty. And and it's always funny to me when people talk about stuff like that, because I help just as many white people as I do black people. That's the thing that gets me. You don't. And then when I talk to a lot, I go out to this place. I went out to this place called Glencoe, Minnesota. Look it up. If you guys ever get a chance to look it up, it's the whitest area pretty much in Minnesota, and it's the poorest area out in Minnesota. Nothing but farmers out there and things of that sort. I've been out there on a couple of times with things to help. Matter of fact, we went out there and wrote checks out to school teachers, because out there school teachers were using their own money to buy school supply.
Yeah.
So we raised money, went out there, and gave money to the school teachers who were using their money on there. And this is the reason why I sit and I say, if we all come together and we stop this nitpicking crap, you know how awesome we would be as a country? We wouldn't need, and the thing that always gets me is when people always get on the government, say, big government.
You have 1 minute left.
Oh, okay. So I tell you what we'll do. We'll table that conversation until next Sunday. You want to close this out?
All right, brother. Yeah, brother. I just want to thank you as always for being there, for being you. I want to thank Carl, our brother, new dad, for being him. And I want to thank all the people who've been rolling with me, all my supporters, all the people who don't know, but maybe are going to find out. Everyone who's listening. It's good to be here with all of you. And yeah, let's stay in the fight, and let's take the fight to the enemy this year. So that's it.
All right,
Thanks,
bro.
everybody. God bless you. And Reverend Tim, I'll see you next time, brother.
We'll talk to you. We'll talk to you next Sunday, bro.
Goodbye.
Hey, fam. Again, we appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. Again, for those who probably just jumped in late a little bit, we was talking to Dexter Taylor from prison. We try to do this on every Sunday. Give him an opportunity to come in and talk about the things that are going on. And we do it for a few reasons. We do it, number one, to get his name out there and to keep his name out. We know how it works when you go in the system. People just forget about you. Number one. Number two, we do it also to give him that opportunity. You think about sitting in a room, a little bitty space for 24 hours, 23 hours a day here lately because of the strike. it kind of messes your mind up. So we want to try to keep Dexter as clear as we possibly can, and give him the opportunity to come on here and rant a little bit if he wants, just talk a little bit with what he wants, and just listen to what he has to say. And without you guys, that wouldn't be possible. So again, I just want to thank each and every one of you for coming on and hanging out. I know we've been at this here for what, an hour, almost 2 hours, almost going on 3 hours. So again, if you missed anything, if you want to fast forward backwards, listen to some of the things that we say. If you have something to say about what we say, like I said before, I am more than happy to give you that opportunity to come be a part of this here. Just give me your name and your number, and I'll put you right here next to Dexter and myself, and you can say what you want. Or, again, like I said, I don't know what happened to my message get up, but boom, it's gone. But anyway, hey, with that said, Carl, you got anything you want to close us out with there, new daddy?
No, not much. I just wanted to thank everybody. Be sure to tune in next Sunday with us there in the RevTChristopher, so we can discuss current state of politics.
Definitely. Well, we appreciate you, Carl. Thank you very much, man, for doing what you do with this whole thing and giving us the opportunity to do it. Again, I would definitely say congratulations to you and the wife for adding one to the family. And like I said, you're gonna be an awesome dad, man. I can guarantee you that.
I appreciate that, brother.
All right, then.
Take care of yourself.
All right. With that said, fam, again, we thank you very night. We thank you very much for hanging out with us. I just hope everybody go in peace and realize and understand that we have a God, a mighty God that serves each and every one of us, and you don't have to worry about the things that go on in your life. Just turn those things over to God. I guarantee you he will take care of it. I'm not telling you something that I'm thinking. I'm telling you exactly what I know. Like, we all ain't been this here clean. There was a time that I was just as dirty as everybody else was out there. Hey, I'm still a sinner, but I know the difference between being put it this way, being a good sinner and a bad sinner. I was a bad sinner before. I'm a good sinner now. Because I sin under God's name instead of sinning under the devil's name. Anyway, hey, thank you guys very much. We'll talk to you guys soon. More than likely, I will be here on tomorrow. Tomorrow at 7:00. I'm going to the rally tomorrow. And then I'm going to Edina. We had a situation at Edina. I'll tell you this real quick. Had a situation at Edina that I guess they kicked a bunch of people who had a bunch of Republican paraphernalia on this hoagie place, Divine out in Edina. Edina. So I'm going out there tomorrow. I'll be out there talking to that restaurant owner or the manager or whoever there is, because I love their hoagies. Ain't nothing gonna stop me from not going to get one. So I'm going out there to get one of their hoagies, but I'm also gonna say something to them about them kicking these people out. We don't like, again, we don't always have to agree. But I guarantee you there's something that we can all rally around. I guarantee it. Anyway, y'all have a good night. We'll talk to you soon. Peace, fam. I'm out.